started in this country. They got legislation now whereby you can't beat up on the Asians. They messing with the Jews again. Why don't they pass some legislation to get y'all off our back?
And who's y'all?
Huh?
Who's y'all?
You said you wouldn't work for me had we been in the Army together. You wouldn't be working for me. I didn't pay your salary.
That's true. Hey man, I gotta run. Oh, brief, appreciate it. Okay. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning. This is Michael Strickland.
Michael, good morning. I thought you guys had forgot all about us.
No, we were running a little behind, and it's just me. Mr. Attorney Brown was not able to call in.
Okay. Well, listen, after you guys left yesterday, of course, our mayor had a press conference, our DA had a press conference. Tell us a little bit about this, because there's so many sides to this that we're not exactly sure. Tell what's going on.
So that is one of the reasons why at the conference, what my request was let's call in the Department of Justice, have the city call in the Department of Justice and allow them to do the investigation. Because we have the three people who were located in that automobile. They were all interviewed completely separately, and they all three gave statements that were consistent. And those statements were consistent with the video that was at the microtel. So that is why we were asking for the Department of Justice to come in and do the investigation.
Now, our district attorney said right now he doesn't see anybody being charged for anything out of this. Was this? First of all, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
The night that this happened, I was called and I was told that somebody was shooting at the police. You guys assert that there was no weapon.
Well, if you remember, if you watched Bailey's and Mayor's press conference, you look at what Chief Finley had said, that they were shooting, that he was shooting at the police. He exchanged fire with the police. If you pay attention to that press conference, they stayed completely away from that statement because they know that statement was not correct that Chief Finley made. So that, coupled with everything else, that's why we are asking for the Department of Justice to come in and do an independent investigation. Obviously, you know, our firms and Mr. Brown's firm, we work together quite frequently. We do high-end litigation, lots of products liability cases and cases involving experts. Experts will disagree on findings. That happens all the time in litigation. And I believe that has happened even in George Floyd's case. I believe that there were differences on those experts as to his cause of death. And we're not comparing this to George Floyd's death, absolutely. And we did not hold a press conference on the anniversary of George Floyd's death. That was the day before. So that's one thing that we did not do. So that's what we're talking about. We want that independent investigation. That's what the family has been asking for. But they wanted to see the video. They wanted to see the cameras because of what they were being told, what they were hearing is completely different from the three ladies who were sitting in the automobile.
Well, let me ask, and who were the ladies in the automobile?
His mother, Janice Moncrief. And on the front seat, the driver and that was the young lady that spoke yesterday. And that was Benita Moncrief. And then we have Tamara Akery, who was on the front passenger side of the automobile.
Okay. When I was down there yesterday, I saw a single bullet go through the back glass. If that many people were in the car, and then there was a bullet on the side, was Mr. Moncrief the only person injured?
There were actually multiple shots. If you look closely, there were a couple of shots from the side. There were some entries from the back window. There was an entry from the passenger side rear window. But yes, and that's why, if you heard Benita speak, she was spared. Everybody in that automobile was spared. None of the other individuals were hit, which is absolutely amazing.
So none of the rounds that I saw on that car were from the inside of the car. Every round that I saw then entered the car from the outside in.
That's what it appears, and that's what those the ladies have been consistent with from day one.
I mean, it had to take the hand of God to make to see that nobody else got shot.
I know, absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And you're correct. They were three very lucky ladies to have not been injured.
Okay, is it your assessment, your assertion that there were no shots fired from anybody in that car?
Oh well, we know absolutely that those three ladies, and whenever we heard that it was a suicide, and you remember yesterday, one of the ladies had said, it looks like he killed himself. That's what they heard from one of the officers. That's what they had said.
But I guess,
and then to hear it yesterday, and he said that their autopsy found this, their autopsy found that the small circular wound on the back of his head was an exit wound, not an entry wound.
And you say what?
Well, from looking at the video, you can see what happened, and that is what is so astonishing, and that's why we're asking for that independent investigation. Mr. Bailey has requested for us to provide any additional evidence that we have. Once we are able to get the video from the microtel, which has to be done through a subpoena, through the power of the court, a subpoena power, we will be providing that to Mr. Bailey as that additional evidence that he is looking for. Because if you also remember, Mr. Bailey said that the forensic pathologist doing the autopsy relied upon the statement that the girlfriend gave that he was going to kill himself. So if you think logically, why would a 32-year-old man in a hotel room come all the way downstairs and get into an automobile and commit suicide in front of his mother, his aunt, and a family friend? It just doesn't add up. That's why we're asking for that independent investigation by the Department of Justice.
Of course, now here's something else that doesn't add up. Now, I'm mainly pro-police. Why is it reasonable?
We're pro-police too.
But why would the police?
We're living in a society of chaos.
Right. Why would the police open fire though, if they in fact did not fear for their own safety, either by hearing a shot or something like that? I mean, so why would they do that?
You're asking me to enter the mind of an individual that I am not. So for me to speculate on why someone would do something like that, I would just be taking, as they say, a wag, which a wild ass guess. And that's not what we're there for.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to say, why did someone do this? Why did this officer shoot? Why did this person, run a red light for no reason, and kill somebody? Why did this person do this? Asking those questions or it can be asked all day long of any situation.
Okay. So has it been proven that he actually had a gun?
We don't know that. I mean, that was why we were asking for. So from last Wednesday, we have been asking to see cameras. We've been asking to see videos. That's what the family wanted. And during this entire time, remember the Chief Finley kept putting out that he had shot at the officers and they were returning fire.
Right.
So whenever the video was viewed on Monday from the microtel, that's not what had happened. So we knew that was an inconsistency.
So you guys are alleging what?
Well, what we are alleging is that from what it appears, from the testimony, from what was investigated, it appears that the officer and that's one of the things you can see one officer exit the vehicle and begin shooting. So that's what it appears happened, and that's why we're consistently asking for that Department of Justice to step in and do the investigation, because you can call in. The city turned this over to the state of Alabama, Leah, to do the investigation. We're asking for an independent by the Department of Justice to come in and do the investigation.
You don't, and again, it's a matter of integrity. You don't feel that our departments here or the state of Alabama has the wherewithal or the objectiveness in order to do this investigation? You think somehow there's something dishonest?
That is not what I am alleging. I depend on the department many times for cases. I depend on the law enforcement many times for their testimony in cases. I represent officers. I represent a lot of different people, my office and Mr. Brown's office. But to have such a completely different set of facts and story than what the three ladies who were in the automobile to have, and from what the video at the microtel depicts, all of this could have been avoided by simply, yes, come in, view the videotape. You need to see it. Your family needs to see this.
So
and
why won't they let you?
Allowed.
Why won't they allow you to see the videotape?
That's what I don't know. I mean, it's just simply viewing of it by the family. It happens all the time. By viewing a videotape, it doesn't ever change the facts. A videotape shows exactly what a videotape shows.
Right.
It's not like having a piece of evidence and handing that piece of evidence to an individual and their fingerprints then get on it or their DNA gets on it. This is simply viewing cameras.
So let me ask you, how many shots actually were entered that vehicle? How many rounds?
I am not an expert, but what I could see from the markings that were left on it by law enforcement, I remember seeing 3, and that there were possibly 4 or 5 rounds. They marked 3, but I believe there were 5 holes in the automobile.
So if there were, and again, I'm not, this is your thing. You guys know how to do this, but it would seem to me, with 5 rounds entering that vehicle, and nobody gets hurt, nobody comes out of this thing injured except for Mr. Moncrief himself, wouldn't that kind of suggest that self-inflicted?
I have seen where 18-wheelers have gone head-on with an automobile. The driver of that automobile would be killed, and the other 3 individuals are completely unharmed, and that automobile would be completely destroyed. I have seen where people have been involved in rollover accidents, and the driver is cut in half, and the other individuals are unharmed. So you're asking a question why do things happen,
mm-hmm.
that's beyond
right. I get
our control.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, that's for the good Lord to answer.
Right. Well, what's the next step in all of this then? And I assume, and you may not be assuming this directly, but indirectly, you are saying that you do not believe the story from our police department.
The story of exchanging the fire, we know, is incorrect.
Okay.
He did not shoot at the officers. That was not depicted on the video. Absolutely. That did not happen. And that was completely void in the press conference by Mr. Bailey and the mayor yesterday.
Right.
So they completely left that alone because they know that statement is false.
So
the next step is
mm-hmm.
we'll have subpoena power.
Right.
Hopefully soon, and we will be able to obtain a copy of the microtails video. We'll present that to Mr. Bailey as he has requested. At some point, we will hopefully be provided a copy of the autopsy report. We will have that reviewed by someone else, just like what you do in any situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The mother,
but verify.
Right. The mother, if he had actually harmed himself, his mother certainly wouldn't know that, right? She was in the car with him.
She was sitting right next to him, and she has been consistent from day one.
Hmm.
And you had two other people in that automobile as well.
Right. I've never seen a story that is so completely opposite. Even for a layman like myself, a layperson like me, it's confusing. And I'm a guy who believes in logic and reason. And my standard, does it make sense? Is it reasonable? And right now, I'm somewhat confused because I mean,
we are too after that press conference. And one of the things is when you speak about logic. You know, why does someone do something that's not logical? That happens all the time.
Right.
But one of the things after that press conference, had many people call me, and one of the things they would say is, if Gary Moncrief was going to commit suicide, why didn't he do it in his hotel room? Why would a 32-year-old man walk down the stairs and do it in front of his mother? And that's where the logic seems to depart from, what you're talking about. It's not logical that occurs, and when you view, and that's one of the things that I would be so happy whenever that microtail videos are obtained and released, everybody will be able to see exactly what many other people have seen.
Right.
And that's one of the things. I do not remember them talking about, during the press conference, that they obtained a copy of that video. And this is not just one video. There are multiple cameras from multiple angles. So if you're going to view all of the evidence, doesn't make rational sense that you would view all of the evidence.
Okay, so
and that's why we're asking for
the tape,
everything. Let's get it all out there.
Yeah, just a point of clarification. It is, as far as you know, Mr. Moncrief was not in possession of a weapon.
As far as I know, well, I was not in the automobile. All I can tell you is based upon the interviews and the conversations that whenever he, and what was viewed, whenever he left his hotel room, he had a cell phone and an electronic cigarette. Cell phone in one hand, electronic cigarette in the other hand. When he stepped off the elevator from the second floor to the first floor, he did not have anything in his hands.
And his mother, I would imagine, or the people in that car could testify the fact that he did not have a weapon.
Well, obviously that's what we're relying upon. Whenever we do investigations, we rely upon witnesses and testimony and investigations, and that is what is presented to a jury. We're not here to be the judge, the jury, and rule on it. We gathered the information and we present it.
Right. Now,
and that's why we're
right.
we've requested the video. And
it's my understanding though that if you fire a weapon, you leave a signature on your hand. I think it's called a paraphernalia test or something like that.
Yeah, what you'll have is gunshot residue.
Right. Has that?
Yes, sir.
Did he have any of that on his hands?
I did not hear that at the press conference yesterday. Right.
Well, I got to tell you, listen, good luck on this, and I think everybody should have their side of the story told. Again, is it reasonable? Is it logical? Logic sometimes gets lost, but reason seems to stick in there some kind of way. Wow. Do you want to take a call from somebody, anybody?
At the present time,
No.
I do not.
Okay.
I actually have mediation.
Okay.
I hate to say that, but we have mediation today in another case.
Okay.
But we'll be happy to maybe at another time.
Okay.
Schedule it so that I'm not pressed for time. That
Gotcha.
we can answer questions, and we'll be happy to answer those questions that we are able to answer.
Okay.
The thing is, we don't know all the answers.
Right. Well, listen, appreciate talking to you. We'll be following you, and hopefully the truth will be known out of this.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, sir.
Got to take a break. We'll come back with some of your calls, your questions, right after this. Okay, we are back. I don't have a lot of time, so let me go straight to the phone and talk to somebody here. Sorry, we can talk more next week about this. Good morning, you're on air.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah, you asked the right questions today. I give you credit on that. But sounded like you were leaning toward the police side. But
Well, no, I'm not leaning toward either side because I don't know what happened. Nobody. I just know that what I'm hearing from the DA, what I'm hearing from the mayor's office, what I'm hearing from these guys, there's some disconnect here someplace.
yeah, it seemed like you were leaning toward, insinuating suicide.
No, I'm again, reason and logic are my friends. I want to know why is it reasonable that people would shoot at somebody without being shot at, without feeling for their own life. I don't. Does that make sense to you?
No, and neither does it make sense to shoot into a car.
It don't. If nobody, right.
It.
If they're not shooting at you, why would you be shooting at them? It doesn't. And again, I looked at the car. There's 3 bullets in the car. It looked like somebody else would have been hit. Maybe not. Maybe not.
But
yeah.
It seems like the mayor, whoever the chief, should have said that they did find a gun or give some clarification. Did they ever say that?
No. And according to the attorney just now, they said he didn't have a gun. So I mean, well, that's why I don't understand. Then if there was no weapon, why were y'all shooting in the car?
Exactly.
So
one more thing, real quick.
Yeah.
We'll find out later on. But look,
yeah.
I don't like the way you do 50-50, man. 50-50 have a lot of information.
Yeah.
Then every time you bring up the past, you jump down his throat.
Again,
now you talking.
The reason for it, again. What's the reason for the conversation of the past? Well, we'll get to next week because I'm running out of time. We'll get to that next week. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
The lawyer came on, and the city of Montgomery need to hear exactly what he saw that they won't release the video. But my thing is that it's the mayor interview, man. I'm beginning to see the other side that everybody's saying about our mayor, vindictive, cockeyed, real arrogant, and even from the sanitation department. Now, what this man said yesterday, that he's going to retaliate against his lawyer, and anyone who's associated with them, man, I think that was a real ugly message. I feel like that was a direct hit on me due to the fact that I was out there and everybody else who was out there, man. I don't think we should live in a city of fear. So I'm glad that lawyer came on and told what he saw. He did an outstanding job. I did with one of the mother or one of the other person in the car. You should ask them.
And I'm sure. Right. I'm sure I'm sure this is going to be a long way from over. So.
Yes, to say he's not scared, and we shouldn't live in a state of fear where this man used his power to try to humiliate and attack. But that's wrong, man.
Yeah.
And he did that yesterday, and he should have been bipartisan, and he should have said, we're going to let the investigation go forward, and we'll find out the truth at the end. But the way he came out, man, I didn't like that, man. Have a good one.
All right, appreciate it. One more call. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning, my friend. How you doing?
Quickly, Ed, because I'm running out of time.
Okay, real quickly. God, see all, hear all, and know all. Have a good day, my friend.
All righty. Well, okay. Well, I got time to take one more. Ed surprised me there. Anyway, if you want to get in, you got one more question. I got about a minute left or so, I'm confused. I don't take side one way or the other. I just want to hear both sides. Again, it is just an interesting case, but somebody lost their life. And if somebody loses their life for whatever reason, we as citizens and everybody's got a right to know why. And and that's all I want to know. Why? Anyway, our time's up. We'll be back tomorrow. The good Lord says the same. And we can tomorrow's Memorial Day weekend, right? Okay. So gotta go real quick. Hey, real quick.
God see all, know all, everything.
Everything. All right. Hey, I don't have any more time, guys. No, I don't have any more time. No sense in I got to run. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. We can continue some of this conversation.
WSFA 12 News Update on News Radio 1440.
Good morning. I'm Judd Davis. Here's what's happening on this Thursday morning. A breaking news update. New details are coming in about the gunman who killed at least 9 people in a mass shooting in San Jose, California. Police say the apparent shooter, who worked at the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, took his own life as police moved in. No word yet on a motive. Back in Alabama, Governor Kay Ivey is signing more bills passed by lawmakers this legislative session. One of those bills is a ban on curbside voting in our state. This legislation prevents election workers from setting up curbside areas for people to cast their ballots, as well as forbids the setting up of voting machines outside the polling place. If you're taking a road trip this Memorial Day weekend, gas prices are the highest we've seen since 2014. Right now, the national average is $3 a gallon. That's more than $1 per gallon more than it was this time last year. Gas prices in Alabama sit at $2.83 a gallon. That's your news on this Thursday morning. I'm Judd Davis in the WSFA 12 newsroom.
News Radio 1440, the home of the University of Alabama baseball. Also heard on 95.1 HD3.